Popping off here in great fashion, but let's get straight into the action as players are jumping off the bus here in match number 3.
We'll see it cutting the map down in half here. We'll see Naughty Nuts through the Citadel as everyone will drop on in. And again, we talked about contestation and people looking to switch up their drop spots here as we move from day number 1 to day number 2. But for the most part, people seem to be sticking to their guts. I mean, we'd even possibly speculated maybe even Cammy and Cammy getting contested at Frenzy Field, but it seems like this time around, people are going to stick to it.
Yeah, they definitely could stick to it, but we'll have to wait and see. As we see the spread here, it does look like we're seeing Xcepts and Dubs doing what they can, finding some success there in the distance. You see that just south of Lonely Labs, that's going to be the Xcept and Dubs duo. This is a team that has found some pretty consistent success on the day, not necessarily breaking into the top 5, not really standing out in a big way there for them, but still staying consistent enough to be in the conversation. And of course, Cease and Blake, the boys, of course, have to hype them up as they have been winning the off-spawn battle of Brutal Bastion so far. And going into the day, we saw them in the top 15. Doesn't look like that may be the case, though, as this fight could end up changing quite a bit here.
A rough start to the day, to say the least. But again, you're landing at a POI that's triple contested, so I mean, there's always going to be some faults there in that aspect. But Smikey and Satam have made it work for the time being. DGen and Sizz Lucky also the ones trying to take this north side of Brutal Bastion. We saw them trying to switch up the drop spot at the beginning of competition yesterday, but defaulting back to Brutal Bastion and finding a little bit of success, looking to try and make a big comeback here in day number 2. But Cease and Blake consistently seem to have a game plan that works for them. They're just trying to stick to it and improve as they go along.
Doing what they can here to keep this fight going is Epic Whale and Acorn. Of course, you already know, 2 games out of the games that have been played so far, so they're feeling really good about their performance in this one. But Carmi, Vanyak need to make a statement, need to tell the people why Become Legends came to them and signed them in a big way here at Mega City. But we'll see as this continues to play out. Carmi Vanyak, though, going to go ahead and opt to just separate from the action there with Epic Whale and Acorn, and that seems to be a pretty consistent trend here for the duo, as Acorn and Epic Whale find a lot of success early and then essentially dissuade them from fighting. But no, Tayson with a bit of a misplay on the Cybertron cannon, wasting the shot there as he takes tons of damage from afar. Fortunately, it did look like he had a cone to heal immediately back up into the fold. But Xcept and Dubs here looking to take the fight. Need to be careful. They are on the low ground. And unfortunately, it does look like Dubs may be getting caught out here. Steady's going to go ahead and push. He's dropping down into the fold. Can he get a big shot there? And now he could convert that into an elimination. And so far, there it is. The knock comes through. Xcept needs to do something. He's got the high ground now. He's got the Cybertron cannon now. But no, Steady says, I don't care what you have. I'm taking the fight straight to you, as Xcept just tries to get away, and it doesn't work out.
Burns the utility at the last moment there. You saw him take the high ground and look with the Cybertron cannon, just not able to connect. Took some shots from another direction, giving Tayson and Seti the moment they needed to take flight and take them out. This is Dubs and Xcept's drop spot just nearby, down near the beach, so this is their home turf. Seti and Tayson took it to them and took them out. 2 eliminations there as they send some shots over towards Brutal Bastion. But we have to check in. We talked about players being contested, and Clix, Duke, Muzz, and Bully have been butting heads, to say the least, in the first day of competition, continuing that here in day number 2. Not a lot of loot to go around here near Steamy Springs. They seem to be making it work for the time being, finding themselves a vehicle. Now moving towards this next zone, keeping their eyes out. They know that they are close by as Bully stays within the bush, just looking out, trying to scout, get an idea of what the surrounding area entails for them, as he finds a little bit of an upgrade there. An MK in inventory. Muzz, the Cybertron cannon, still that crucial part to any player's loadout.
Now looking here, Clix and Duke going to go ahead and use the vehicle to just try and rotate around. Interestingly enough, we do see some teams in the storm a little early. I do believe Queasy Venom may be one of those teams.
Yeah.
But it's this zone where we really start people start seeing people use that Storm strat, spending a lot more time in the Storm, using whether it be NPCs or existing heals to just stay alive here in these crucial moments. So I'll be keeping an eye out for that as things continue on, though. It is going to be some of the big heavy hitters in the lobby. We saw Cammy and Japko there just moments ago. We saw Carmi and Vanyak still in this one too. Despite that fight going on, they still seem to survive here, which is a good sign, as the Battle of Mega City may be over now.
We'll get a little bit of flashback here towards that fight. And I mean, played well from XF to try and reposition up towards the high ground, but Seti and Tayson not missing a shot, not to mention the third party from Bastion. Just left XF with little to no options here. Tried to put on a bunker in the last second, but not able to make something of it. So Seti and Tayson will clean them up. Talk about flashbacks, though. A little flashback to yesterday. I mean, the big changes we've seen between games 1 and 2 is the pace that we're seeing this lobby take. Players are playing much slower than they did in day number 1, as players seem to not be dropping. We've been getting a 5th zone or so with only a couple of teams being sent back.
Yeah, I agree. It's definitely a change of pace for sure, as these teams are looking to survive. But this has actually been a very different game here, Ben. We saw the first 2 where teams just were not going down, but now we're down to 39 teams in Zone 2. Last game, it took until Zone 4 to see the same result. Actually, I think there are still more teams up in Zone 4. Nevertheless, though, we got to talk about Kanata and Agers. The first duo out in the walkouts, of course, as we've seen in both day 1 and day 2. Not finding a lot of success there on day 1, but coming back strong here as they clean up Dukes. It does look like Mixon, though, was actually able to get clicks. So not going to be able to convert on both eliminations in that duo, as Blotcha, Mixon have a different plan there for them. And I do love these tree plays here and the new POIs. These new jungle biomes provide a lot of additional cover that typically you just don't find across the map. So for Zero build specifically, this is one of those spots that has a lot of pros, but does have some cons as well.
Takes a lot of practice to get used to this new spot, which, of course, Clix and Duke, we just saw them get taken out, but this is nowhere close to their drop spot. They really tried to invest to move towards this side of zone for positioning and also to try and find some extra loot, and they just ended up getting punished for it. But Fluger and Opt, they like to play a little bit of a ridge close to their drop spot this time around, investing, trying to find this elevated tower position above Brutal Bastion itself, knowing that it's a contested POI. It could give them some opportunities to find some eliminations from third parties, but at the same time, there's another team positioned atop the mountain to the north. Sizlucky and D-Gen holding down the spot. They've been having some trouble, Panda, throughout this competition at this spot, so it's good to see them find some success here.
Well, the big thing we need to talk about here for Fluger and Opt is Opt said they need to be more aggressive here in day number 2, and this is the first sign of that aggression as they position themselves there just above the team in Brutal. Like you mentioned, though, there are a couple other teams not too far away, so they need to be mindful of that as these fights continue on. Though you do see quite a few players stacking themselves in a way that could lean towards them spending some time in the Storm. We'll see how that plays out. Queasy and Veno caught out in a tough position as Kame and King are looking to take advantage. Going to connect some shots down below. No one quite giving up a shot yet, but no, the shockwave comes out. This is a misplay if I've ever seen one, as unfortunately Veno is going to be caught out into the water. That's going to be Quanti there in the distance too. The Cybertron cannon is out, and unfortunately it is not looking good here for Veno and Queasy as he goes down.
Small missteps with the shockwaves will send them out into an awkward position, but you see the double Cybertron. It's going to be Notch and Source from above. Panda, we talked about him before the show started tonight, so it's cool to see them here now showing out against some of the best that they have to offer here in this competition. Source and Notch already finding one knocked. King's low HP, so they have to be careful though. A lot of third parties and teams located close by as they try and spot him out. King will slide down the hill, finds a moment to pop this big pot, get some HP back. Notch and Source, though, just trying to slow things down. Look around. They do have an NPC following them, but they're going to go ahead and sit on top of this tower. King just kind of stuck down below with not really any options. And again, this Cybertron cannon. The bush is the obvious position, and he'll be spot out.
Yeah, even though he got spotted out, though, it was not able to connect there from Notch. As Source going to go ahead and try to take a shot, and nothing really converting into any kind of damage, but does see a vehicle there in the distance. Going to go ahead and connect some shots there, as now they're forced to rotate here out of the Storm, and looking at Notch and Source's inventory, they don't have a lot of heals to work with, so they are going to have to avoid this storm as much as possible. And Nas and Pink still in this one, though. One of those teams that obviously high expectations going into this competition. Gamers8 champion, Pink going to fall here. And Nas left as a solo, just trying to slip away.
Thomas and Malibuka in hot pursuit, looking to try and take out the Gamers8 champions from 2022. But Anas has something to say about it, using these shockwaves down in the mud, quite literally sliding around, trying to make a speedy recovery to somewhere a little bit more safe. There's so many teams close by just on the other side. It's going to be Gentle, taking shots, and that's Dark. It takes him out of the air just like that. Anas will exit this game and send back to the lobby.
It's going to be a tough go there for Dark and for the other team, as Dark and Gentle easily cleaning that one up, and Andalex and Nikov now traveling not too far away. This could be a problem for them, but we'll see how it plays out. Now that we have a majority of the lobby hanging out in Brutal Bastion, I don't even know what's going on. Was there a party we were not invited to?
Apparently not.
If so, Levin's probably thrown in because the man doesn't invite me to anything.
Wow.
It's crazy.
Just going to air him out just like that. He's not even here to defend himself.
You know, I can't lie. That was a lie. Levin is actually the best. He invites me to everything.
Not wrong.
He actually bought me dinner the other night. Great dude. Great dude. But now let's focus on Kanata and Agers, as they're going to go ahead and go for the island. This is a big play for them. If they're the first ones up there, of course, they are most likely to capture that point, get those slurp juices, and make a fight out of it. But now we're going to get to see Brutal Bastion as the island appears. Wow. Of course, Fluger Ops still up there. Sizz, Lucky DJ, and haven't moved. Blake C's haven't moved. But you got Carmi and Vanyak, Kinzo and Kika, and now Quinn and Vert all joining the fold here at Brutal. What once was a 2, maybe 3-team fight now seems to be a good portion of the lobby.
Big representation here. That's Kenzo and Kika. Now clashing heads with Quinn and Vert, and Kenzo will be left on low HP, now gliding through the air, trying to connect on the last couple of shots to take them out. It looks like Kenzo will finally be now knocked, so Kika has to look to try and recover with one shockwave, but getting pressured from the island. Not really any options there, so has to be forced to play as a solo, and Blake and Cease have not moved from this building since dropping. I feel like these guys will hang out here as long as physically possible until they start to get storm sickness.
Oh, I mean, look, it's nice to see the zone start to pull north, but not so nice to see as Trashy and Pump are getting eliminated here on the north side. But that's going to be Bloomy and Lardle. Remember, just outside, not too far outside the top 10 going into the day is them, but Thomas HD taking a ton of damage with Booga on a tear. This has been a huge change of events on the day here, folks. As Booga and Threats didn't necessarily have the best day one, they came back here in day 2 very, very strong. We'll have to continue to tune in with them and see how they can continue to take these fights and trend right up into the top of the leaderboard.
And if I'm not mistaken, Booga Threats ranked #1 on the day, but ranked #4 on the cumulative leaderboard as it currently stands. So they're in a good spot. They can definitely make some big gains here if they continue this kind of momentum. And this is what we talked about, right? All these teams get that mental reset, that 25% point increase between day to day. So that's these type of teams that you'll see make massive gains. But still, we'll check back in. Brutal Bastion, so many teams still here. The ones that aren't forced away will just try and hang out as much as they possibly can. Quinn and Vert included in that. Kika and Kenzo back in the mix, though. Looks like Kenzo was able to be revived, so this team will hold down a position over near the low ground as we get a look at the next zone here with majority of the lobby positioned in the storm. Couple in Slappy Shores, a few near Creaky Compound, but again, now we'll get a look and it'll pull Brutal Bastion still going to be in this one.
Clearly, it wasn't an invite to a party. It was an invite to the future as to what was going to happen. And that's why all these teams have positioned themselves in Brutal Bastion. But no, Booga has gone down in the storm. That may be Moo and Tax cleaning that one. Threats, though, it looked like he was going to be able to slip away. But no, he is going to be down and out, as it does look like Moo and Tax are going to be able to finish this one strong. I don't think Moo is aware that Threats may have gone down there to the storm. But nevertheless, we see Quanti, Tripperin still in this one. But of course, the the heroes of day 2, the unsung heroes, I should say, of day 2. Source and Notch having one of the biggest comebacks here so far, and one of the biggest comebacks we haven't talked about yet. Because obviously you could talk about Malibu, Thomas HD finding a lot of success here in day 2. You could talk about Bugha and Threats finding more success here on day 2. But Notch and Source is one of those teams that we haven't discussed as much, and they have had an exceptional performance day 2 compared to day 1.
I mean, absolutely, right? You go ahead and hit the VODs the night before, whatever you got to do. Watch back the stream. Make those revisions, come in with your head held high, knowing that you can fix those mistakes with 2 more days left. So we'll continue to keep up with their story. Moo and Tax, another one of those teams looking to improve here, as we'll see Moo get knocked up there in the elimination feed, confirmed as well. They've made massive gains as well, just breaking into the top 10. Another team to continue to watch their journey as X-Squeeze and Bad Sniper making their way into the zone. Not a lot of cover nearby here because we are out in the snow, so a couple of icebergs to hide behind, but other than that, not really many options. But seems like a lot of the teams here left in this game want to try and stay in the storm instead.
Do you blame them?
No, not at all.
I mean,
not at all.
You look at what Kami and Jabko did yesterday, and it was just like, okay, well, if it worked for them, maybe it'll work for us, especially for the teams that may or may not have found success there in day 1. This is the day to really adjust the game plan and perfect it before day 3. So we're seeing a lot of teams do that, including Nikov and Andalex, who a strong fight there for them, taking out Bad Sniper and X-Squeeze very, very quickly. Love to see the speed and urgency in that fight. For them, it was a huge refresh too. You see the Breacher shotgun now in hand, the Cybertron cannons ready to go, and it's just a matter of time before we see Nikov and Andalex go for another challenge. But of course, another unsung hero in Gentle and Dark. This team is just, the best way to put it is they are on the up and up.
Oh yeah.
They showed us some stuff there in day 1, but day 2 they said, Panda Ben, Levin, Shio, Kelly and the crew, we're going to turn it up even further. And that's what they've been doing so far. So curious to see how they finish this one out, as Quanti and Tripper are now going to be pushing Source and Notch in the storm. This is going to be a tough fight for both teams to take here, as Tripper going to go ahead and use the shockwave to get in. Source is going to be able to pick up.
Wow.
No. It actually all went down so fast. What a tough loss there for them, but good pickups for Quanti and Triprin.
And good comms to be able to use that shockwave. Such a great call. Yeah. That's how you know you've done your homework. You know that that's going to be the play here. It's like, hey, they're stuck in this bunker. They're stacked up together. Let's go ahead and catch them off guard here. Break things up. Try and hit a shotgun shot maybe as you travel through with great precision. But Japko and Kami continuing in this, 2 eliminations. Trying to spot out the solo. Good colors just underneath. Blaster taken out. They'll keep rotating through. No vehicle this time around. No NPC, so they're going to be caught out on foot. An early exit in last game, but still atop the leaderboard by something close to, say, 300 points. So they got to be feeling good. Cal Gamer, Nema, again inside this bunker. Just outside of Edge, but they're going to get double Cybertron cannon. Tripper and Kanata take them out in an instant.
Wow, and obviously that's not even planned too. It was just perfect timing there from those players. And now Kami and Japko are the next ones focused by the Cybertron cannon. Lots of damage there to their bunker, but still going to stay alive, as also Vanyak and Karmi just trying to hold on to the edge here. They are very, very close to the zone, but now need to make their way around. It does look like Pfluger and Ops still in this one in the distance, as well as Riz Andy and Refsguard. This duo, of course, confident going into day 1, confident going into day 2. And so I fully expect to see a big, big game come out of them here in the near future.
Something I have to mention, Thomas and Malabuka just being taken out in this game, but Rezon in a hairy situation. Amar as well confirmed, as Kami will find that. They have 3 at this point, hiding behind a little bit of a wood ramp. Ruins of the bunker that once was. Riz Andy and Refsguard, a team not overlooked. Very talented duo. Expected to do very well. High up on my top 5 list for sure. But we'll get a little bit of replay here. Quanti and Tripper, and again, that play to bust through the bunker, just catch them completely off guard. They didn't even have time to get a single shot off. Just like that, they'll find them. But Kami caught out. Japko is a solo here with no shield to his name.
It's a tough loss here for Japko, but Japko,
oh no.
I was about to say can find success, but as I was going to say it, Quanti and Tripper end up collecting that elimination, and that could be the lowest performance we've seen from Cammy and Japko so far in this competition.
Which isn't even bad. 20th is not even bad compared to some performances we've seen. And these two, again, just have to stick with the game plan. It's been rough for them. Obviously not going to plan, but Quanti, again, looking to try and make what he has work here. Kika will be taken out. Kenzo taken out as well. That duo will be done for now. Quanti just looking to try and hold a line of sight. That bunker not going the way they want. Just trying to get some health back to it and really not left with any options but to take the gunfight. Kanata and Agers claiming the island earlier on. Rocking these mythic drum guns, which a lot of times are overlooked. It has a little bit of a longer range potential to most other shotguns in the loot pool right now. So it's definitely an interesting change in the way you have to take fights. But these two definitely have the experience to adapt on the fly as they'll look with their cannons to try and bust one of these bunkers up. Still on the outside of the Hall of Whispers. Rizandy losing rest guard in the process down here on the low ground. Just brawling. Really nothing left but left in shambles.
Yeah, while it is a shambles situation, Blake and Cease are going to go ahead and find Riz Andy there mid-air to clean that one up. But now the fight continues on as Suns and Alex still in the game. They are the OCE duo and the only OCE duo hanging out here. Of course, Muzz made his way from OCE to NA, but he's an NA player now.
Absolutely. He is through and through. Blake and Cease, though, caught out here. Epic Whale and Acorn, the ones that do it on low HP, but now Epic Whale's knocked Acorn alone. Looking towards Baka and Pars for putting the pressure on, connecting with the Cybertron cannon. Gonna be looking for the opportunity for the res. But again, grabbing the heals he can. Axe Force and Vortexers looking to force Suns and Alex out of a comfortable position. They have the mythic drum guns as well. Acorn trying to grab any extra utility before he has to hit the little left foot, right foot to rotate into this next zone. Suns and Alex will fall to Casker. Still inside of these buildings, trying to hold on to any sort of natural cover they can. Optifluger still in this game. Top 7, looking for a solid performance as they're trying to find some more eliminations. They have 3 in total. Putting out shots with the MK, Vortexers and Axe Force, backside of zone, trying to make something happen here, but it's gonna be Hero, the one to take them out. Unsuspecting shots from the backside of zone.
Now here it is, Fluger and Opt in a healthy spot here to finish this game strong. But no, if anybody has anything to say about it, it's of course Dark and Gentle yet again in the end game. And it's going to be a tough situation for him as Axe Force is going to go down. And Fluger does end up picking that one up. But no, he's going to go down to Casker. That's going to leave Opt as a solo.
And just like that, we're into the final moments of this game. Dark and Gentle looking to try and go for the 2-time on the day. Opt back in zone, connecting on the shots with the Maven. And Dark and Gentle, 8 eliminations in the Victory Royale.
What an insane back-to-back performance. Of course, not back-to-back, let me be clear. Won multiple games on the day.
Absolutely.
And just honestly insane, incredible there to see them.